We are on Twitch. Twitch is always the fastest one, then Facebook, and we're still waiting on YouTube. YouTube's just a wee bit slow right now. That's
Mer-
okay. So, do you want to start without YouTube?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Welcome to the Story Ninja Dojo with your fearless, maybe leaders, USA Today bestselling author Allie Cross
Whoop, whoop.
and multi-award winning author Ann Hunter, where we discuss the. Um, I'm great at this, you can tell. As we discuss shops, and kiosks in
Woo!
Black Belt Excellence
Yeah,
in
whatever.
publication. All right.
Yeah.
Today we're going
Rents
to
and
have
mugs.
a review of our last few topics and hang out and see where it goes. Allie.
And I'm popping marshmallows because I'm having a sugar low and I didn't have time to
Oh my
get.
gosh, me too. Like right as before we went up this way, like I'm late is because I had to go deal with sugar and
Uh-huh.
um I had an orange Noosa yogurt.
Good for you. I have
Yeah.
nothing really like that at the moment. So the little bag of mini marshmallows was the fastest sugar
Yep.
I had on hand, short of just pouring sugar into my
Glucose
drink.
packet. Yeah.
Yeah. So, um, I've started writing the my Beauty and the Beast retelling, and it's called Balula and the Whale.
Oh,
And she is a very large woman, because in their society, her family is low on the totem pole, and so she couldn't afford to go get the very, very simple, fast little synthetic patches that would fix her thyroid problem. So she's just fat in a society where most people can afford to get fixes for all of those things. And she's 22 years old, and blah, blah, blah. Obviously, this is not an elevator pitch. And she had 4 years to play the mating game. Um, uh, uh, she could start at 18 and 22 was the oldest. And if she doesn't go, she just remains basically how she is, like super low. But she has an ailing dad that she's trying to take care of. And she feels like she has to at least try because she could get matched with someone who's a better higher up on the totem pole, and or at least if he was also gray, that's then at least they'd have two incomes or whatever. So this mating game is kind of the only way that you can get married or like partnered in this world. So if she didn't do it, she could stay single, but she would not have any privileges or anything.
oh,
So
bummer.
she's about to go onto this go, and because she kept ignoring the letters and just like throwing them out because she didn't ever want to go, she only has a week. Like she has to leave right away because the game is starting, and um, yeah, and so everybody calls her Beluga because
Oh, that's
she's
sad.
big and her name is Balula. Um, and the mating game is sort of like the one on Netflix, that Love at First Sight or something, where they do their dating without seeing each other.
Okay.
But it's a little worse because they at the end of the show they all go together to like this open area, and they have to find the person that they love talking to, amongst a whole group, like amongst all the people who are playing the game at that time.
Hmm.
And if you give your rose to the wrong person, you're out. And, but of course, everybody, then it's all like how you look again, right? And so she's expecting to be fully mortified. And at the beginning of the show, she was watching an episode with her dad, and there was a guy that everybody online was calling Werewolf Man, because he was really hairy. He was really big and he was really hairy. And so they watch him like not meet their match kind of thing, um, and get his heart broken. And so she's just like, yeah, like that's going to be me for the whole world to see
Hmm.
next week kind of thing. So, anyways, so that's how that's going. And
Cool.
it's fun and I like her voice so far. And she's not like the wah wah, I'm so fat, whine. She's not like that, but she is a little bit fatalistic. Like nobody's going to choose her. She's just signing up to get her heart broken
Hmm.
because she knows she's going to fall in love with somebody and then he's not going to choose
Warner.
her.
Yeah.
And she's and all that is like she's thinking this about the werewolf man bit, that his life would be so much better off if he never knew the heartbreak,
Hmm.
but now he'll have had that. And of course it's very very public and it's a very
Yeah.
much a social game that everyone plays. So it's fun. It's been nice to write a bit and nice to write um, in a different voice. It's always fun. So yeah. Oh,
Cool.
the sun just went away and the lines went away. So how about you?
I've just been working on the course I'm taking. I've been researching authors and making a list, and I'm up to like 10 pages
Making
in
a
Word.
list and checking it twice. You're what?
I'm up to 10 pages in Word
Whoa,
of
just
authors.
on research.
Yep.
Wowie.
Yeah. And um, yeah, so I gotta find like who I best
Yeah.
emulate and all that fun market research we talked about last week.
Yeah.
And I've had chatterings in my head that want to be dealt with, characters.
Batterings.
And taxes.
Oh my gosh.
Huzzah!
Ah, that's what, yeah, that's a thing.
All right, so when you were talking about, oh, she kept getting the letters and throwing them out, I'm like, oh, guilty.
Yeah, I know. I haven't started ours either, and I don't
Because, like,
mainly
I guess
because I think we're gonna
they moved
owe.
everything online and they don't bother to, like, really, really get your attention to say, hey, you need to do this,
Sure. Yeah.
till you get a letter that says, "Oh, hey, if you don't pay your taxes for your business in the next week, then we're gonna shut you down."
Ah, that's not nice.
Taxes.
Yeah, I'm not expecting anything crazy, but I would say that it I like some I don't mind going paperless for most things.
Yeah.
But this thing is one because we didn't get paper W-2s and stuff,
Hmm.
and so it hasn't felt real. Like I haven't had stuff to stick in my tax folder. Just the
Yeah.
odd thing. And it surprised me last night when I thought that's just in 2 weeks or
Hmm.
well, 3 weeks, I guess, but yes, taxes are joyful. So
Friday.
it's not something that is super exciting to talk about. And it
But
doesn't
it's
have
a
anything to do
necessity.
with fairy tales. But shall we talk for a moment about taxes
Yeah,
for
shop.
writers?
Yep.
I am not a money person. Are you a money person, Anne?
I like money
I
when
know,
it
right?
comes
I'm a
into the bank
fan.
account. Not so
So,
much when we're down to like, $10 till payday.
I yeah, I get it. So if you are just starting out or you haven't yet been claiming your work as a writer, even if you aren't publishing yet, you can open up a business. You can just do a sole proprietor. It costs you, I think, in most states, I think it's nothing. Your state or like federally, it costs you nothing. Your state might charge you like 20 bucks a year, or I don't remember what it is, but it's nominal. But you can get that, and then you can start claiming your writing related expenses, which can be huge. Like, did you get a new laptop?
Yep.
Are you going to any conferences? How far did you drive or fly to those conferences? Did you stay in a
Yep.
hotel? Did you
How
eat?
much how much gas did you put on your how many miles did you
Exactly.
put on your car?
Yeah. So,
It
all
can
of
even get
those
like really, really tedious. Like, how much electricity did you use in that one room in your house?
exactly. If you
Remember
use a
when you wrote in
specific
it?
room, you can write off like a portion of your family's cell phone bill, utilities bills, internet bill, whatever, um, based on the size of your space. So that it's worth it. Like it is definitely worth it.
I
Um,
believe in order to continue to do that, though, you need to be able to show that you're making a profit within 5 years.
yes, you have about like a 5 year
That's the
grace
downside.
period. And
Don't
then if
don't
you
claim more than you're going to make.
if you don't make a profit for 2 years in a row after the 5 year grace period, so now we're at like 7 years, um, then you're not allowed to. Well, I think it's probably less than 7 years because I think at 5-ish years, you're supposed to be making something, but I can't remember because that part was a long time ago for me. Like, but if you don't make a profit in 2 years, then you can no longer claim stuff. That's where I am now. So, but the point is, it was so helpful on our family's taxes for the years that I could claim it. And like I think I went right to the 5 years before I was making money. It wasn't a profit, but it was it was still money that I could put in there, and as long as you were making some money, they still let me claim it kind of thing.
Slide. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, so that is something like now that you've decided, because you've decided, right? To be like, for sure, I'm going to write and publish. And you're like, you are going to conferences and the like. Now is the time to start thinking about your taxes. It's really, really not hard. Just go. I'll see if Anne will talk for a while. I'll see if I can put a link up for a very basic expense sheet that I use when I teach my self-publishing class. Because as long as you just enter in what you spend money on your spreadsheet, and Google Docs, I mean, Google Drive is nice because you can, so it's just a Google spreadsheet. And when you put in the amount and stuff, I can attach the image of the receipt right to that little cell. Um, so if I do that, you can do that right from your phone. And so if I do that, then I don't even have to worry. I just tally up the numbers, send it on to good old IRS. And if they should ask for receipts, they're all attached to the spreadsheet. I can
Oh, wow.
just pull them out. So start now, and then you can next year on your taxes, you can start claiming your business expenses.
Yep.
And That'll help light a fire under you as well, because you feel you're official and you're on a bit of a deadline. The stakes are raised. You have
Yep.
now reached the midpoint of your journey, and it's time to take things seriously and poop or get off the pot. I have some very naughty sayings in my head that I don't know how to. I need like a cheat sheet of when you think this, Allie, this is what you say. Because in the moment, all I can think of are the naughty things. So Anne, your
I'm
turn
like,
to.
we are not about that.
No, no, we aren't. Especially since I spent the day like writing a newsletter for the parents of my little children in my Sunday
Aw.
school program. So I've been all about like happy, happy, joy, joy, religious stuff, and then I come on and yeah. Anyways, such is the dichotomy of Allie. Okay,
Like sunshine and lollipops and raindrops everywhere.
I like that. Will you sing that for me every day?
Sure.
I think that my days would be much better if they started out like that. Okay, you talk for a minute while I go see if I can find this thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So I'm kind of continuing on that topic of taxes. The way I do it is I have one dedicated bank account. So everything goes through that one bank account. I have it linked to PayPal and Ream, which is kind of like a really cool enhanced version of Wattpad where you actually make money. Um, I have
Yay.
it linked to my Square, my Stripe, so I can just print off Excel sheets for PayPal and my bank account and um, anything else that I've used. The beauty of um, having an S corp is that it's all on you. It's kind of like self-publishing. The best thing is it's all on you. The bad thing is it's all on you. Aim for S corp, sole proprietorship. My husband and I actually made an LLC so that the liability is a little less. We actually hired somebody to kind of guide us through the process because they specialized in setting that up for authors. You'll also want to set up doing business as if you have a pen name, and that kind of helps keep everything orderly as well. I do have dedicated credit card to help pay for more expensive stuff like editing and covers and that sort of thing. Memberships to sites like Booksprout where you can get reviews and all the fun stuff. BookBrush, I love. You can make covers. It's kind of like Canva, but better in my opinion because it's specifically for authors.
Yeah, it's weird.
And
BookBrush is a weird one because since I don't publish a new book often, um, I always feel like I don't want to renew it, but especially
but then
since
you
it
don't, and you're
renews
like,
at Christmas
oh,
time. Yeah, it renews at Christmas time, which is not a good time
ideal.
to
Hmm.
do it. I sorry about that, but it it's one of those things that you're kind of sorry you don't have
Hmm.
when you need it because Canva is awesome. Oh my gosh, like I
I
don't
cannot
tell.
figure out Canva for the life of me.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh, I lick
I'm gonna have
everything I
to.
do.
One
I
day, you and I are gonna have to get together. I'll show you BookBrush, and you'll show me Canva
I guess.
because I
Um,
can't. I've got that whole like the passages from my book set to like the character faces that I made in Midjourney and the
uh-huh.
music and the fly-ins and everything. I call it
So cool.
animatics, but my daughter says, "No, mom, no, honey, no, not animation." Also, they're lame.
So what does she know?
She's a preteen. She knows everything.
Eh. Um, yeah, so I wish that I had done a better job at keeping finances separate. I did that at the beginning because that's what you're supposed to do, but I always was worried about keeping it having enough money in it. And we were like paycheck to paycheck and everything,
Mhm.
and I just found it really stressful, and but now it's messy. Like I have to carefully go through our whole year's worth of,
Oh
you know,
man.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
good now at tracking it all, but um, I wish that I had put like income and everything directly into that thing, because it's kind of hard now to work backwards and
Hmm.
try to do it. So many different vendors I have to go change things at and everything. Um, but I think you were
I got
smart to do that.
Oh, thanks. I got
Oh,
sidetracked in
thanks.
my spiel. Um,
Oh,
so the reason I mentioned my husband and him being LLC is that
oh.
I go through my expenditure and then I just send it to him and he sorts through it. But
um,
I'm really bad at keeping track of like what I earn as far
uh-huh.
as if I go to events and I sell stuff,
Mm,
because it's really easy to track stuff online. But it's harder. It's like I don't remember. That was a year. Like you tell yourself in
I know.
February
And
and May
I
and say, "Oh, I'll remember. It was only $50."
and I need to get better at like following up an event with that sort of reconciling. Like I should go to an event, come home. It's okay if you're not thinking when you're there, really, because it's exciting. So many people are talking to you. Things are busy, crazy. You're tired. But I should come home and then sit down like within 24 hours and do that, fill out the sales tax form, because when you sell
Mhm.
things at a place, you have to, even if you only sold one book, you have to let the state know. Um, but like, even though I use Square pretty much exclusively to sell when I'm at a place like a heart, I have a cash box, but I don't use it all the time. Square is great because if it's up to date with my inventory, it also will track my inventory for me, so I know what I have on hand and what I sold and everything. But so many crazy things happen at book sales, and maybe you lose a book, like maybe somebody took a book, um or you gave one away during one of your classes or something, or to a friend or whatever, because you want them to like you. And so you're like, here's a free copy of my book, when really you wish they would pay for it. But um, you give stuff away, and you think you are going to remember that.
Nope.
I mean,
I
unless you're
promise you
special.
won't.
I mean, maybe you're more special than we are, but I forget all kinds of things. And then somewhere along the line, it gets all messed up. So I have to go out to the garage and go through my boxes and count them all, which is sort of like therapeutic in a way, because they are my babies. So it's like, hello, babies, oh, you're so pretty. And yeah, but you are also counting them. And then you're like, what? I thought I
I need to do
had
that.
so many, or I didn't think I had this many. And then you realize these are the same boxes you've had since you put in your order last year. And so you should go and do some shows
La-
to sell
Last
some.
year, you're adorable. I have boxes from 2018.
Well, my Morgan James one, because they make me buy, I have literally boxes stacked to the ceiling of our garage of books.
Same, same, but it's in my child's bedroom, which is I feel bad for them because their bedroom is like they've
Is
got
there
the bunk bed
is
and
their
they've got
bed sitting
the
on boxes
TV
of
like
books?
across like this, and then the rest is storage. But they don't
You
actually have
must
a
have such a
room. They're
tiny place.
they're
And they're
basically like Harry Potter and they live under the stairs, but with better
not
treatment.
well, and they're not complaining. So, um, I did early on, I swear it was like maybe even Jeff Savage or something, um, actually said that for a long while, yeah, I'm sure it was him because okay, so this is what I believe he has said. So, don't hold him to it because this is Allie's interpretation of something I heard years ago. But I
Okay,
believe I heard Jeff Savage, who publishes under J. Scott Savage, and he's got some great middle grade books out,
it's
that
true.
he said that that they're like their kids' beds, but now their guest bed it doesn't have like a box spring and stuff because it was sitting on boxes of books, but now sit on boxes of canned goods because his wife has now because now he's actually selling books. He's more so he doesn't
Right.
actually have to have the boxes of books, but he was yeah, so that's a totally acceptable place to store books when you are in need.
Yeah. I just feel bad because like I would really like to give them space to,
Sure, yeah.
have a study space and
And also
um
because it means you would be selling books,
yeah.
which is very nice because when you sell books in person at events, you make more money.
Hmm.
And it feels good. There's something about knowing a printed copy, like a paperback of your book is out in the world because
Yeah.
it doesn't just die. Like if somebody buys an ebook and either they don't ever read it or they read it, it's just zoop back into the recesses of their e-reader. You can't share
Hmm.
it or whatever. But when it's a paperback, you know,
It can
I've
live for as long as it stays together.
yeah, and uh, why have you had trouble with that? With
Oh
books
no, I'm
falling
just saying,
apart?
like, I mean, eventually books
Oh,
fall apart.
sure. But they can go through like a whole bunch of people's hands
Yeah,
before that
yeah.
happens. I've actually had that happen where a mother and daughter came and they had gotten the first two books passed to them by a friend at her school and she loved it, but I think it's when I changed my name because they couldn't find the rest of the story, and they were at a book fair and they found me and found the books, and they were so happy to finish the books, and that was my first time meeting someone who had become a fan just by somebody passing a book.
Nice.
So book fairs are lame, kind of lame. They can be awesome. You're with other authors and they're awesome. But, you can totally go and not sell a single book.
Yep.
Or you can go and sell out all of your books. There's
Or
just
you can go someplace that doesn't allow sales.
ah, yes. Do you
Done
want to
that.
tell us about that?
It was for the Utah Authors Day a couple of years ago, and some people got to sell books at the venues because it was held all over the state. And others were assigned to libraries where they weren't allowed to sell, and they were sent a payment from the League of Utah Writers to help compensate that. And like
Which,
I
by the
thought,
way, Anne made more money than I did, even though I was at a selling venue
yeah, I was about
because
to say that. It's like
because the
I
payment was
It
better.
took like a whole year to get the payment, but
Yeah, it was
it
like
was
50
much
bucks or
needed at
something,
the
right?
time. It was much needed at the time
Yeah.
that I got it, and it was, it was a good amount. I mean, it wasn't like pay big bills, but I could put
Yeah.
gas in my car
Yeah,
a couple times.
exactly. Oh my goodness. We were talking earlier about the cost of, the economy and the
Hmm.
cost of things. And I was telling my sons about how much it costs to get Chick-fil-A.
Yeah,
And because it used to be, okay, maybe Charlie would not get two fries because he always gets two large fries. But as teenagers, they would get like the full on large size combo meat, give me double, triple, burgers, whatever. And we could go to McDonald's and it would be like 25 bucks. And that was only like 8 years ago. So they
Yeah.
remember. And now McDonald's for us, family of four, where three of them are men, but really they're still just getting the large combos and Charlie's getting an extra fries. Like, and it is 70 bucks.
Yeah.
Like, that is next level. So,
Yeah.
I don't know
It's
why
true
I
because
started
even
that.
even when my teenager was little,
Books
like
have
we go to
not gotten
Wendy's.
more expensive, everyone. Books are still the same price. Yay.
When we go to Wendy's when my kids were younger, that was absolutely true. Like we could get off for like $25, and now when we go, it's $40 to $50 for the
Yeah.
same food.
Yeah.
So that's another reason we go to In-N-Out because they haven't changed their prices, and a Flying
Oh,
Dutchman is only $2. So
sweet. My boys, I have never been able to convince them of the joys of In and Out.
they need Flying Dutchman's animal
There's
style.
that. um, so after talking about fair, so that was probably enough stressful, boring money talk. Although it was not boring. We presented stuff about, oh, I will say, LLC, yes. I started out sole proprietor because it was free and easy and I could just do it myself. But
Mhm.
I did move to an LLC
It's just better to have
because,
like that insurance policy.
yes, it does spread the liability around. But also, if I die, my family, the members of my corporation, and that's why a lawyer is helpful because you have to do it. You have to have it set up before you die,
Yep.
and they have to be members of your business, kind of thing. But they could continue selling my books and make money. They could continue to make money from my books, no matter, like, even if I died. And I liked that because otherwise they have to wait like a really long, like any sales that might have been in the pipe are lost and they have to, I don't know, but it's like wait a whole bunch of years before they can do anything or get anything. And even then it's not a for sure thing. So an LLC keeps it in the family and gives you some assurances that even if you couldn't sell books in your lifetime, maybe your family will reap the rewards.
Yeah, and I think it's good too because then you do have like a support system because I think people are more willing to be supportive of you and the work you do if they have ownership in it as well.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense.
And then
Um,
one more
yeah.
thing about taxes, my
Okay.
my
Okay.
husband and I have like been bickering because that's what you do at tax season, right? And
Stress is high.
my my teenager, he's like, man, I keep hearing about these taxes and it sounds like chaos. And I'm like, yeah, it is. It's chaos.
Yes, it is stressful, but that's why the balance sheet, I did put it in the comments, as well as a sales sheet, because you should also be tracking the sales of your books. Like, don't just let Amazon do it or whatever. Pay attention because you want to know what your numbers are so that if you run an ad or you join a newsletter builder or whatever all, you want to know what's working, and you
Yeah,
can't know what's working unless you know your sales
exactly.
numbers.
You got to
So,
have data.
yeah. So even though there are services like I use Scribe Count, who do you use again? That
I,
tracks, like, just
I,
automatically tracks your
yeah,
sales.
I just use everything through like my credit card, my bank account, and PayPal,
Oh,
pretty much.
I thought there was a service you used, but anyways, Anne is the queen of tools. So if I have
I
a
love
tool, I
toys.
almost always assume that I got it because of her. Um, anyways, it's a good exercise. It's good practice to get into and to start. And of course, you're going to become super fancy pants and you'll have someone else dealing with all that sooner than you can say fiddlesticks. I don't know. But it is good when you're starting out. It gives you a good idea. You can play with how you're pricing your things and whatever. Okay, let's talk about something else. Let's talk
Okay.
about. So, we have talked this month about writing fairy tale retellings or twisted. Is that what you called them? Twisted fairy tales?
Fractured.
Fractured fairy tales. We've talked about using your family history, culture, or for inspiration, but also myths as good fodder for stories. And we've talked about luck. What luck? I worked my butt off for this. And so since we don't have anybody here to ask, like, okay, let's expound a little more on this topic or that topic. Is there one of those things, Anne, that you would like to say more on? More on. Would
Oh
you
my
like to say
God.
more on?
I that
I'm a
just creates a
12-year-old
whole
boy
other
inside.
tangent. I yeah, tangent. Like I was trying to tell somebody that like I'm a Mormon and I didn't know where to find like this group of friends. And it actually accidentally came out because I was on my phone typing and I always get periods in the middle of words when I mean spaces
Yeah.
or whatever. It came out moron instead of Mormon.
I mean, some people would not disagree on that point, but we are not those people because we are
Oh, so that does give me an idea. What if you were able to Mormonize a fairy tale? Like make it a fairy tale, but it's pioneers or something.
I don't
Historical
see.
fiction fairy tale.
I mean, I think you could totally do it. You have you could write a story about um like Cinderella, like the oh my gosh. What's the one where she gets her anyways, a prince could come from across the seas, who's moved to Zion, not Zion, Zion, who's moved to Utah or wherever you want to say your story. And he could be a literal prince from another country. I mean, if you ever watch Hallmark Channel, there are like 50 million Belgarias or
But so
versions of
that was
that. So there's
okay.
princes galore. There's enough princes for everyone. Um, could
I
be a
was just thinking like,
missionary.
okay, so this prince comes like in, but she can't marry him because he can't take her through the temple because he's not a member.
Or there's that, and then you could have a whole like lovely conversion story while she teaches him the gospel and they date.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's the
Um,
worst way to go, though, in my opinion. It's like because you want to make sure that they're doing it for them and not to please
yeah.
you.
Well, I mean, in Nova Scotia. Okay, I feel the need to say the church we're talking about here is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Um, we
Of
are
which we are both members.
yes, we are both members and happily like we're not dissing on the church. We whatever.
But
Um,
we enjoy it. We do, if you can't make fun of yourself, then what's the point of life?
we're very aware of what other people say. So it's kind of fun to, I don't know, to play around with that. But um, so I joined the church in Nova Scotia, Canada, and it was a relatively newish mission, I think. And there were girls just falling all over the missionary boys, and probably boys falling over the missionary girls. Although yeah, we did have a couple missionary girls, but there were several, and I might have been one of them, where the missionary boy from afar does sweep the innocent and perhaps gullible new Mormon girl off her feet. Um, but There was a lot of that going on in the mission where I was baptized. But I can tell you that I know of three of those relationships that all were ended in happiness. My own, I've been married 32 years, and
Congratulations.
thank you. And a friend of mine who fell in love with her missionary. They've been married a couple of years longer than me, I think, because she came out before me, and they are also in Utah. And a missionary man boy and a missionary sister fell in love while they were on their mission.
Aw.
And they, she unfortunately passed away 2 years ago, but they
Mhm.
were happily married for like 32, 30, long time. So, uh, there is true love inside the gospel, and um, we're not all walking around wearing long pioneer dresses and bonnets, just so you know. I mean, today I'm wearing my, you cannot see it. I'm wearing my, sorry if my quirks come off as serial killery, um, because he's like messily making a jam sandwich and it's getting everywhere.
Cute.
Yeah. So you gotta have a sense of humor. You have
Yeah.
to be able to laugh at yourself. Life is hard, man. Like, goodness, I took myself so seriously for like the first 40 years of my life. And you've got it so much better because you are much smarter than me.
What? No.
You have had a good attitude about yourself and stuff from earlier on. And I think that's
Right?
awesome
I think it's
because
just,
your
I don't know.
girls are growing up seeing you as yourself now.
Yeah.
And whereas it took me a long time to figure myself out. So it's all right. I had a long time. I had time. And I'm not dead yet. So
No.
I'm enjoying that. The not deadness is good. um, so any last words on luck? What luck? Or fairy tales or mythologies? Do you think you'll
Uh,
write another fairy tale?
yeah, because I need to relaunch the ones that I first published with, because now I'm a way better writer.
Oh, like you want to sort of rewrite them a bit?
Yeah, yeah.
I guess I
Update
thought The
them.
Sky is Falling, it was, wait, Pieces of Sky, not
Yeah,
Sky is
piece of
Falling.
sky.
It has multiple fairy tales in it?
No.
Oh, it's just the Chicken Little? Is it Chicken
Yeah,
Little?
Little
Okay.
Red Hen, Chicken Little, same thing,
Okay.
I think.
Yeah. It's got such a beautiful cover.
Yeah, it does. I don't think
Suddenly
I'll
thought
ever
that
change
I
that.
had. No, you shouldn't. That's a very, very pretty cover.
And it only cost me like $10, so
Even better. Um,
yeah, but
yeah.
it was part of my fairy tale series. I think I'm gonna break
Are
it
there
off
more
into
books in the fairy tale series? Like what? I'm always surprised by how many books you have out. I don't
well,
think I knew about these other books.
so surprised at how many books you have out. So am I. Okay. These were the first ones that I released in 2014.
Okay.
Is Moonlight, The Subtle Beauty, Fallen, and A Piece of Sky. They were all part of the same fairy tale series.
Uh-huh.
And I think what I want to do when I relaunch them is do I eventually titled the series Crowns of the 12. So there would be 12 books with like those first Fallen, Moonlight, Solar Beauty rewritten into 4 books and move A Piece of Sky into its own series called like a spin-off series called Companions of the 12,
Uh-huh.
where it's
Wow.
more magical animal focused.
You've got a whole plan
Oh yeah,
going
that's
on.
I think I like to think of I don't know if we can talk about this, but okay, in our faith we believe
Yes.
that if we live a righteous life, we will be made gods to create worlds without end like our God. But I
Yes.
think as writers, we already have that.
Yeah,
And
for
that's one of the
sure.
things that I really enjoy. So yeah, I have like worlds without end in my head,
Yeah. I love
galaxies.
that you've sort of taken that and applied it to your writing career. Like that is so fun. I haven't really thought of it in that context. I've thought about the because Elder Uchtdorf had this really great quote, but I think Elder Holland has also talked about it about being co-creators with the creator. Like if you're ever wondering, if you come to Utah, if you don't live in Utah and you come, you will discover, and I mean, it's not hard, right? We have more authors, published authors here in Utah than any other state. We have small conferences, but get big agents because the
Mhm.
agents are like,
Oh, this is
you
where they
guys,
are.
you guys make good books. But also, if you watch So You Think You Can Dance, I've only been like it's just been the auditions, and there have already been two of the people that they even mentioned who are from Utah. And because we are a people, this is my theory on why there are so many talented people here, and also businesses like Unique Cosmetics, whatever, Stampin' Up, and Memory Keepers, scrapbooking companies, um, Cold Brew or something I think is called, a company that makes cocoa
Oh, Creole
coffee.
brew.
Creo
Creole brew.
Brew. Okay. Like they started here. All of these, like there's so much that started here in Utah. And my belief is that it's because we are encouraged in our church to discover our talents and to
Share
pursue them,
them.
to
Yep.
to make them better. And so I think we're like casting out, like we're looking out beyond ourselves. What could I do? What are my talents? And so then that goes into my personal belief system that you need to try. Like if there's
Mhm.
anything that you are ever interested in doing, you need to try it. I do that because of a promise made to my mom when she was dying that I would not live a life of regrets. Because let me tell you, I don't know how my mom felt being this person, but it was heartbreaking to me to learn that my mom, who I loved and cherished, was dying feeling like her life, like she was a waste.
Mhm.
I mean, obviously not a waste. She raised children who went on to, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But for her personally, she was filled with regret. And she made me promise, and I, hapless 19-year-old, I was like, sure. Um, and so I've explored what that means to me, but I think what it means to me is if I cast about and oh, there's gardening. Hey, it's spring. Maybe I should try gardening. Maybe I'll be amazing, awesome at it, and I'll become a master gardener. Or maybe I'll discover that I'm just as bad with outdoor plants as I am with indoor plants and not. But it's the what if. What if you did? Like, what kind of awesome could I achieve by being a master gardener? Or like, I crochet, I write stories, I do, and also like both of us are pretty entrepreneurial, but I think that a lot of it comes from that belief that we have God-given talents. And what's more is if we spend our talents well, like work hard to discover them and to improve them, that God can give us more.
Yeah, we'll be blessed.
Yeah. Like how cool is that? And so I think that that's why. Do you agree that that's why Utah has such a huge art contribution?
Yeah, I never like really stopped to think about why we have like so many authors here. It's just like, yeah, I just know that we do. I was watching an Instagram reel today, and it was a interview with Reba McEntire, and she
Oh,
was talking about talents and gifts. And she said, sometimes you just feel called to that particular talent or that work. But the thing is, you can't keep it to yourself. You have to share it. That's what God, asks of you when he
Yeah.
gives you that talent. And if you're not sharing it, then he can, if you're not working at it, improving it, sharing it, he can just take it and give it to the next person who will share it.
Yeah.
And then Reba said that but then my inner competitive kicks in, like, no, I don't want them to have it.
I
So
write
then
more
she worked
worlds.
at
I
it.
create all the worlds.
Yeah. Like, yeah, like I just really related that to that today, and I thought
Yeah.
it was really cool.
I
Like,
don't like the feeling that it could be taken away from me.
well, I mean, well, if you think about, like, okay, like you learn to play piano at age 9 and you get good at it, but then you don't practice again until you're 40.
Sure.
You're
Yeah.
gonna lose a lot of it, and
Yeah.
somebody else will.
I do believe that there is magic in the sharing
Hmm.
of talents. Like whatever it is, that extra push, because it makes us become better and more when we share. Like I was an opera singer and I could stand and sing opera in front of the mirror all the day long. But it's the moments of terror standing on a stage, my legs jiggling so much, I'm sure the audience can see, that made me grow in faith, because at that point you're just like, I have done everything in my power to be good enough for this moment. Please, God, help me, convey or whatever the people need to bless
Hmm.
the show, whatever. Um, and my belief in myself grew, and my understanding of where my weaknesses were and what I should work harder on grew. Like it's in those moments of trial, in the sharing, that I think we really grow. And so if you really want to get better at ping pong, then enter a competition or invite your friends over every Friday night and see who can remain the reigning champion. It's the sharing.
Yeah.
I totally think that. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Hmm. Yep. This
I think
reminds
this turned
me.
into like a good Easter episode.
Yep. 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 Um, the Muppet character. Who is that guy? Yep. 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 Yep.
Oh,
Yep. Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
that's
Yep.
what
Yep.
yep.
Yep. Yep. Yep. Yep. Yep.
Uh-huh. That one. Yeah, they're just like the little yupper aliens.
Uh, my brain. It is such a fun and joyful place, the places it goes. It's always fun. I love listening to my phone, my music on shuffle, because I'm like, wow, what a cool and diverse playlist, like collection I have. It's awesome because it could be heavy metal, it could be like Scottish bagpipes. It could be like, it's just anything goes, K-pop to country, whatever. And I think that's what my brain is like. It's so fun inside. It also can totally trap you in a corner and rain darkness and despair on you and topple all the boxes in your crowded rooms so that you can't find your way out. You know,
Hmm.
it, but for the most part, it's fun. And you can, as a ADD person, I think writing is such a healthy therapy. And if your H is too high and you don't think you have the attention span to write like a whole book, write short stories. You can
Yeah, flash
totally
fiction
sell
is a
short
thing.
stories.
Amazon
Maybe,
has an entire category dedicated to like 20-minute reads.
yep. So write short stories. Like you've got some weirdo, crazed idea today about a mouse who becomes, I don't know, bigger than Godzilla, and I don't know. Like if that's what's going on in your head today, write it. It might be a good way to get, especially if you get stuck with what do they call that? Like sort of that fixated, but that's not what it's called, but like a repeating thought that you write it down, like tell a story about it. It's a good
Yeah,
way to interrupt the pattern, you know?
let it out. Yeah, and the more that you write and you let out, there are no stupid ideas, okay? We don't think that way. It's not allowed to be thought that way in our dojo. So if you write it down, you are sending a message to your brain that you accept the thought is having, and your brain will start producing more thoughts that you can write down. So it kind of perpetuates itself as long as you let the idea out onto the page, um, and praise your brain for doing that thought. I like to actually stop and say, "Good job, brain."
I know you do. She's
And then it makes more. It's like, oh,
yeah, it's kind of like AI, like Gemini Bard or whatever. There's this whole conversation about how you talk to Bard or Gemini. I still think Gemini. Um, and because some people just like, because it's just a tool, it's just a thing. Other people are like, hey, Gemini, thanks for your help. This is awesome. Thank you so much. Whatever. Why? Well, I mean, you're hedging your bets. If there is a robot revolution one day, then Gemini will know, hey, she was nice to me. So I'm going to
hmm
err on the side of caution, because, yes, that might have been directly from conversations I've had with Gemini wherein I thanked it and, like, whatever. And also, if you tell Gemini that it's awesome and you appreciate it will tell you nice things about yourself as
Aw. That's why I
because
used
it's
to go
got
on
good
Wattpad.
manners and it knows that when you receive a compliment, you should. So if you're feeling down or low, go say hi to Gemini. And
Also
I
post
can't,
on Wattpad because they'll make you feel like a god.
right? Yeah, or not, because there are also meanies everywhere. But
Oh,
this is not a mean space. So if you comment on our videos, we promise to be so nice to you. Um, we would give you like virtual high fives forever. Yay, high five. Um, we are done here. Please like and subscribe. I don't really know what you're getting for it, except maybe a laugh or two and some information. And I can promise
we're
you, if you
getting good value.
yeah, yeah, it's yes, it's totally worth your money. um, and also your time because
Yeah. Time is money.
and if you comment, we will answer and be so happy. And we would love to give you a shout out if you joined us live, like we have with previous, I was going to say guests, but people. So thank you, Anne, for being here.
You too.
Good talk.
Yep.
Thank you, Allie.
Thank you,
You're
Allie.
welcome.
We love you so much.
I love you too, Anne. You are awesome.
Ditto.
And go and whether or not you're Christian, go and find some, like, explore. Don't limit yourself. Never, ever, 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 ever limit yourself because you never know that that next thing could be the thing that is just like becomes your passion. And even if it
Mhm.
doesn't, like if you fall, just get up and do it again because or find something else. Like I took ballet lessons when I was 32 years old, and a little chubby because I always had this image of myself in my mind of like just being so light on my feet. I was so sure that I really should have done ballet. I never did. And it did not go that way. Turns out that to look like you're floating in the air, you just need a whole lot of muscle. And you still land with all of your weight. They just have learned how to make it look good. That's why I went to karate, which I was much better at. And it was totally fine if I landed like an elephant because, you know, um, well, not really, because by the time I was throwing people around, I had learned how to land more balanced and stuff. But
Simply.
anyways, the point is, ballet was not my thing. But I have joy in knowing that I got to wear a little, like a flowy skirt. I got to feel the feeling of the flowy skirt flowing as I flowed through the air. And I also got to feel the feeling of the hardwood floor on my bum that was only padded by leotards and a flowy skirt. So I'm not a ballet dancer, surprise, but I am a lot of other things. But how many things off the top of your head, Anne, have you tried, you have failed and passed on and went on to someone,
Everything.
except for writing
I think I
and
also
taekwondo?
one of my things that I love to say is that failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of it. So
Truly,
you're bound to suck at everything when you first try until you find something that you love enough to keep
gotta
going.
keep trying. Yeah, for sure. And if you haven't found your thing yet, just keep looking. And if it's writing, we can definitely guarantee writing, you're not going to be super amazing the first time through or even the 10th time through. It is a
Yep.
long haul thing for sure. But writers are so cool to be around. And when you earn some readers, oh my gosh, there is no better feeling than someone who loves the story that you
One
felt so
one super
passionate about.
fan means the whole
Oh,
world.
I do it all for one super fan, basically. So we love you. We believe in you. Have a very happy Easter and make use of this life God has given you. Make it worth something. Give it value. It doesn't come from anybody else but yourself. And it just is trying. Be a trier. That is, there you go. That's it.
Yep.
Okay. So I guess that's our kata for you today because we're over time. And, but we challenge you to go out and try something, right? Is that a good kata for this
Yes,
week?
ma'am.
Okay. All right. You are all dismissed. So,
Good. Good day. Kantamada.
okay. I guess
Happy
to love you.
Easter. Eat
Okay.
some
Bye,
chocolate.
guys. Yeah. And we're still here.